Happy Thursday morning to everybody. Hope you're doing well. We're at the next to last game on June the 1st. We're in Cleveland. It's the Detroit Tigers against the Cleveland Indians. Game number 339 on the total replay from Metropolitan, or what do they call it? Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, Mistake by the Lake. Singles are 1 to 11 on both sides of the plate. Home runs 1 to 8 for left, 1 to 11 for right. And we'll look at our starting pitching matchup. It is Dan Petrie against Phil Niekro. Niekro 2-4 on the replay for the Tribe. Dan Petrie 4-1. Real world, Niekro was 7-13 with a 6.10 ERA. Petrie 9-7, 5.61 ERA. Got the game on the computer as usual, ready to go. Look at their starting lineups right there. Pitchers holding prowess. Niekro is a +1. He's a 0, but Chris Bando's a +1. Petrie's a -4. Petrie is a +4. Petrie's a +3 and Noakes is a +1. So this is actually a +4, not -4. So neither pitcher very good at holding the runners, that's for sure. But other than maybe Brett Butler, I don't know if there's a whole lot of guys, especially on Detroit, that are going to be stealing because there's no Lou Whitaker, there's no Chet Lemons, and no some of the swifter guys, maybe Gibson perhaps or Trammell, but not a whole lot of stolen bases on either side outside of maybe Butler and possibly Franco. So we look at the go to the Strat computer here. We'll look at the records of these two teams. Detroit is 26-21, Cleveland 21-29. As I mentioned before, Phil Niekro's real world ERA was 6.10. On the replay, his ERA is 6.21 to go along with this 2-4 record. He's a 6.21 earned run average. 62 innings pitched, 66 hits, 35 walks, and 30 strikeouts. Pass ball ratings for Bando is a 9. Pass ball for Noakes is a 3. Wild pitch and balks. Niekro's wild pitch with that knuckleball is a 15. His balk is a 9. Petrie's wild pitch is a 12. His balk is a 3. So I think that's all the preliminaries that need to be discussed and gotten out of the way. And, of course, can't roll the first set of dice. Can't roll these dice until we have the ceremonial first sip. That's a new tradition that's just been started this week. The ceremonial first sip. And as Jeff Guterman would say, that's some good coffee. In fact, I double sipped on that one. It was so good. But the ceremonial first sip is now out of the way. And we can get this game going. Dave Bergman, in his second day in a row, is leading off for the Tigers. Kind of strange that they would have him lead off, but that's just what they have it. That's what Sparky wanted. Bergman's hitting 246 on the replay, a homer at 11, driven in at 273 real world. We're underway from Cleveland. 4-2. Ground ball first base X, we're looking at Carter. He's a 3E24. Joe Carter. The double die starts early. 3 and a 4 is probably going to get through for a hit. Maybe not. We'll see. 3 and a 4 does get through for a hit. That's an 11. Joe Carter is an E24. And there's 11 on top of it. So insult to injury, or injury to insult, whatever you want to call it, single plus the error on Joe Carter. So Bergman will single and then take second base on the Joe Carter error. Very inauspicious start here for the Cleveland Indians. It's probably why they're right there near last place. So Bergman's aboard on second base now with nobody out. And here's the designated hitter, Darrell Evans. He is hitting 253 on the replay, 11 homers, 28 driven in at 257 real world. First havoc roll, nothing happening. We get a 6-2, and that's a fly ball to center field. That'll be out number 1. Niekro gets the out, and that'll take us over to the big guys, Kirk Gibson and Alan Trammell. Gibson on the replay hitting 404 and just 99 at bats. So he hasn't had quite enough bats yet to be the league leader in that category. But he's getting there very quickly. This is his bat number 100 right here. So 7 home runs, 24 driven in to go along with that 404 average. He had 277 real world. Gibson 211, and that's a ballpark blast for Kirk Gibson. Home runs are 1 to 8 for left-handers, and that's a 3. Kirk Gibson just crushes another one. And at bat 100 on the replay, he gets home run number 8. And that average just keeps going up. 2-run home run off the bat of Kirk Gibson. We'll look at it again. 211 is a ballpark blast. Cleveland Stadium home runs for lefties are 1 to 8. The double die is a 3. Kirk Gibson 2-run home run, and the Tigers lead it 2 to nothing. Good morning, Kathy. I'm not sure if you were here when I did it, but I did do the ceremonial first sip. Had to have it. In fact, I did a double sip. It was so good. No doubleheader today. I need to. The yard tomorrow is supposed to be a rainy morning and stuff like that. So today is my day to get out there and tackle at least a good section of those leaves. So, and I may even take a before and after picture. I don't know, but it's a lot, put it that way. So I need to, once I finish this, I got my work cut out for me. The fact that it, gets dark now at 5 o'clock. So still a fair amount of time, but, I'm not as young as I used to be either, so I can't go 5 or 6 hours in a row without a break. So I, plug along, so no big deal. All right, here's Alan Trammell. He is hitting .399, 11 homers, 34 driven in. He at .343 real world. 6-7 on Niekro, and that is a walk. So Niekro will issue the free pass to Mr. Trammell. Hello, Frank. Good to see you. Trammell trying to get the lead, needs a 5. Does not get the lead. He will hold. And here is Matt Noakes. He is the catcher in this game. Matt Noakes hitting .270, 14 homers, 41 driven in. He at .289 real world. 4-9, and that's going to be a triple 1 to 5. That's a 16, so we'll call it a double for Matt Noakes. And with only 1 out, I think Trammell will go ahead and hold. He would be a 1 to 13 because it was being held to be a 1 to 13. So with only 1 out, go ahead and keep runners at second and third, keep the pressure on. So a double by Noakes puts runners at second and third. The Tribe in trouble early. We'll bring the infield in against Pat Sheridan. Hello, Mr. Gudeman. In case sorry you missed it in the beginning. I had the ceremonial first sip. That is my new tradition. In fact, it was so good I had a double sip. So the infield is in with runners at second and third. 2 runs already in on the Gibson homer. Only 1 out. And Pat Sheridan, the batter, he's hitting .247 on the replay. 3 homers, 15 driven in. He hit .259 real world. Nothing on the Havoc. 1-7, and that is a strikeout of Pat Sheridan. That's a big strikeout for Niekro. He needed it big time. Now the infield can go back to normal, and the right fielder, Donnie Grubb, in a clutch situation. Grubb will get a hit on 1-3 everywhere else, and also on 3-8 and 3-10. So he's not a very good hitter overall, just .202, but he has 3 hits coming up in the clutch. So obviously Strat-O-Matic feels he's a good clutch hitter. On the replays, hitting a .185, no homer, 6 driven in. Of course, he hit .202 real world. That's a 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. We're looking at a balk rating of Niekro. His balk rating is a 9. 1 to 9, he can balk a run home. But he does not, so Grubb will stand back in. 2-6, and that is a 1 to 11 single. That's a 2. It's a base hit. It's only 1 star, but that's good enough to get Trammell home to make it 3 to nothing. Noakes will have to stop at third base. So the Tigers continuing to apply the pressure. And now here's number 8 hitter Tom Brookins. He's also in a clutch situation, and he will lose hits on 2-9 and 2-10. Everywhere else he is neutral. Brookins on the replay hitting .276, 2 homers, 12 driven in. He at .241 in the real season. .46 against Niekro, and that's a strikeout. So he does strike out two batters within the inning, but 3 runs score. They were all earned. And the Tigers give Dan Petrie a pretty good lead to start his game with. Go to the bottom of the first, Detroit 3, Cleveland coming to bat. And Dan Petrie, the veteran, will start things off. He was, well, let's look at his numbers, real world. He was 4-1. He was 9-7. Let's look at his numbers, real world. 9-7 with a 5.61 ERA. Pitching much better in the replay. He's 4-1 with a 3.14 earned run average. 52 innings pitched, only 34 hits. So he's given up 18 less hits than he has innings pitched. But in the real world, he gave up more hits than innings pitched. So he's definitely been getting some good rolls his way to be able to do that. All right, here is Brett Butler. Butler, the center fielder, hitting .413. But again, he's just a little bit shy of having enough at bats to qualify for the league lead. But he's right there, and will certainly get there after a few more at bats. 2 homers, 12 driven in. He hit .295 real world. That's a 4-9, and that's a fly ball to right field. And Petrie takes care of Butler on the first play. Here's Julio Franco. Julio Franco hitting .290, 2 homers, 24 driven in. He hit .319 real world. Whoa, we got hop and dice. We're going to re-roll this. 1-5, and that's a home run chance. 1-11 for Julio Franco, and that's gone. It's not clean as a baby's ass, but it's gone nonetheless. Got it again, 1-5. 1-11 is a home run. That's a 9. Julio Franco gets the Tribe on the board. This could be a high-scoring affair, unlike the Minnesota-Boston game yesterday. For Franco, that is home run number 3, RBI number 25. He had 8 home runs all during the season. Hey, Justin, good to see you. Tabby is relaxing. She's got a thing now where she likes jazz. The missus told me that she likes jazz music, that Tabby likes jazz music. So I've got jazz music playing downstairs on the TV. I think it's Amazon Music or something or other. So Tabby's just happy as a clam, just sitting there on her blanket and listen to her jazz music. It's not anything I can compete with, that's for sure. All right. And Tabby's a senior kitty. She's up to 13 years old now. So climbing steps probably are not in her top priority, as they say. So anyway, Franco hits the home run, and we go to Pat Tabler, the designated hitter. Tabler on the replay is hitting .345, 4 homers, 28 driven in. He hit .307 real world. 4-3, and as a ground ball pitcher X, Dan Petrie is a 2 E22. 2-13, he'll get to that. The E22, and that is a 14. And there is a 14 right here. So Dan Petrie will muff it. He'll boot it. E1 on Dan Petrie. That'll put Tabler at first. Brings up the ever-struggling Joe Carter. Hello, Chuck. Good to see you. And here's Joe Carter. Carter on the replay, of course, his struggles have been documented. In the real season, he hit .264 with 32 home runs. In the replay, he's hitting .176 with just 9 home runs. And over a third of his at-bats have already been completed. So a little short on his home runs, and especially on his RBIs. He got 18 RBIs. He had 106 RBIs real world. So he's definitely way behind. He would have to catch fire to even get close. Petrie to Carter, 5-6, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We got a chance for a double play, perhaps, as Trammell is a 1E21. 1 and a 2. The Devil Die just wants to cause all kinds of problems. So 1 and a 2 was only going to be a G2. They weren't holding anybody on, so the pound sign is not a problem. But it won't be a double play, just be a fielder's choice, thanks to the Devil Die. Now 9, and he is an E21 at shortstop. There is no 9, but it is a G2, so just a 6-4 fielder's choice. As the Devil Die says, you're not getting that double play. So that'll bring up Mel Hall. Hall, left fielder, hitting .294, 5 homers, 17 driven in. He hit .280 on the real season. Carter, not going to be a threat to go anywhere. 3-8 for Hall, and he grounds it to third, and that will end the inning as Tom Brookins fires to first to retire the side. Franco's homer, though, does put Cleveland on the board. At the end of 1, it is 1-0. I'm sorry, 3-1 in favor of the Tigers. Niekro coming back out for the second inning. See if he can make that better than his first inning, that's for sure. Number 9 hitter Jim Whalewander at second base. Whitaker still on the roster, just not starting, so I don't know if he had lingering issues or what the story was. So here's Whalewander. Limited duties, he's 2 for 6, 333 average, but one of those 2 hits was a home run. That's a 2-8, and that's a walk. So second walk issued by Niekro to go with his 2 strikeouts. Whalewander, not a threat to run. He does have the asterisk there, so they will have to hold him just to make sure he doesn't get the lead automatically. But he's not going to try anything. Hello, are you ready? Here's that's a 2, chance for balk or pass ball again. We're looking at a pass ball rating of Bando, which is a 9. That's an 8, so it will be a pass ball on Chris Bando. And that will move Whalewander into scoring position with nobody out for Bergman. 6-7, and that is a single, 1-19. So that's a single, but it's only 1 star. Put runners on the corners, but nobody out. And this could be a very short outing for Mr. Niekro, as he is in a world of hurt right now. Here's Darrell Evans. Infield's back. They will trade the run to get 2 outs. They want to avoid that. They'll give up the 1 run. They don't want to give up 2 or 3 runs this inning. So they're back for the double play. That's a 3-12 for Evans, and that's a home run, 1-8, and that's a 5. It's gone. It's not clean as a baby's ass, but it's gone nonetheless. 3-12, home run, 1-8, and the Devil Dies a 5. And Darrell Evans, a 3-run bomb. It's not going to be much longer in this game. 6 runs already for the Tigers. They lead it 6-1. And Evans with home run number 12. RBIs 29, 30, and 31 for Darrell Evans. It is now a 6-1 ball game. And Cleveland did add somebody to their roster. They either demoted or put on the IL Ernie Camacho, and they brought up Mike Armstrong. He is now in the bullpen. So he's going to be used at some point in this game just because he's a fresh arm, if nothing else. So here's Kirk Gibson. He homered his first time up. Phil Niekro is tired, but they're going to try to get him through the inning. 4-4, ground ball third base X. We're looking at Jacoby. He's a 4E25. 4-10 might be okay. 4-10 is going to be okay. That's an 11, and he's an E25 at third base. No 11, so it's good play for Jacoby. And they get the first out of the inning. That'll take it to Trammell. He walked and scored his first time up. 6-8, and that's going to be another walk. Third walk issued by Niekro. Trammell needs a 5 to get the lead. See See if he can obtain that lead. He does not. He'll hold. Here's Matt Noakes. 6-5, left-handed. It's a line out to short. Out number two, and that's the first line out of the game. So 2 down for Pat Sheridan, center fielder. Struck out his first chance. 5-8, and that's a fly to right field. That will end the inning. But another 3 spot for Detroit. We'll see if Niekro comes back and they just have him try to eat some innings while he's tired just to save the bullpen. We'll have to wait and see. They may consider this game a lost cause. I don't know. But anyway, here's Brooke Jacoby. Tells you how bad it is. Detroit's had most of their players bat twice. Cleveland's still got some guys that haven't hit at all. So that tells you the way it's going so far. All right, here is Brooke Jacoby. Jacoby on the replay hitting .335, 7 homers, 28 driven in. He hit .300 real world. 4-9, and that's a split chance. 1-4 is a single. That's a 7. So the second line out of the game just took place thanks to the split. 1 away, and that brings up Corey Snyder, right fielder. Snyder hitting .240 on the replay. 8 homers, 24 driven in. He hit .236 real world. 3-11, and that's a ballpark single check. 1 to an 11. That's a 10. Base hit for Corey Snyder. He's no threat to run. Here's Tony Bernazard, second baseman. Bernazard hitting .244 on the replay. 7 homers, 28 driven in. He hit .250 real world. 6-10, switch hitter. Ground ball third base X. Chance for Brookins maybe to turn a double play. He's a 3-E21. 3-20, the double dive pays off, but this 17 is very iffy. E21 and a 17 at third base. E21, he got a break. There's an error on 11, 16, 15, and 18, but no 17. So it will be a 5-4-3 around the horn double play. Turned by Brookins and Whalewander. And that takes care of the Tribe here in the second inning. After 2 complete, it's 6-1. Niekro will come out and start the inning, but if he gives up any more runs, he's coming out of there. Or my rule is if he hits one of his dots, he's coming out of there. My house rule is if the pitcher is labeled as fatigued, which he is for giving up 6 runs, if he hits a dot result, it's an automatic pull. All right, here's Grubb. 5-10, that's a strikeout. So Niekro catching a break there. That is strikeout number 3 to go with his 3 walks. That'll bring up Tom Brookins. That's a 1-8 for Brookins. He grounds to short. 2 down. So if they can milk as many innings out of Niekro as possible, just so they don't wear out their bullpen in the first game here. Now, they do have off tomorrow, so that's a good thing for Cleveland. They have Monday off, so the second is off. Or I guess it's Tuesday. I don't know. If I looked at the schedule, they didn't play June 2nd. So Niekro, 5-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Bernazard, 4-E22. Devil Dives a 3. It's a base hit. That's a 10. There's no error on 10 on an E22, but it will be a 2-out single for Whalewander. And Whalewander will try to get the lead. Needs a 2 through 7. Doesn't get the lead. And that'll bring up Dave Bergman. 5-7. Another chance for Bernazard to get another ground ball second base X. This time the 18 fits him pretty well. 4 and 18 is no problem. 22 and a 12. E22, but there's a 12 right there under the E22. So he negotiates the range but can't deal with the error. So Bernazard boots it, continues the inning. Second error of the game on the Tribe. Should have been out of the inning, but he's not. And that brings up Darrell Evans. Hit that big 3-run homer his last time up. Necro to Evans, 2-6, and that's a ground ball to second. This time Bernazar does field it, and Necro escapes with no damage done. So we go to the bottom of the third. We do have a trivia on top of the fourth from Kathy, so be on the lookout for that. And that it's time for another coffee sip while it's still warm. Dan Petrie coming out, and he'll be facing Chris Bando. And then Butler and Franco at the top of the order. But the Tribe have a tall task ahead of them. Down 6-1. All right, here's Chris Bando on the replay. He's hitting 200 in 80 at bats, a homer and 10 driven in. He hit 218 real world. 3-7, and that's a strikeout. And that's the first strikeout from Dan Petrie. And here comes Brett Butler. 1-6 for Butler. It draws the base on balls. That's the first walk issued by Petrie. Gets his first strikeout. Now his first walk. Butler, undeterred by the score, is going to try for the lead. 2 through 8 or a 12 gets him the lead because of that +4 hold rating. It's very enticing to take that extra base. That's a 5. He will get the lead. He's a 15, being held to 13. +4 is a 17. 1-17. And he's in there. It's a possible throwing error on Noakes. His T rating is a 7. That's a 9. He does not throw it away, but Butler does get the stolen base. You say, why in the world are you stealing down 6-1? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One of them is there's now no chance of a ground ball double play out of Julio Franco. That would kill a rally like it did last inning. Plus, a base hit gets a run in. Each time you can piece together a run, all the better. So, and it was the odds were in his favor. 3-6 from Franco, and he draws a walk. And now it turns out that he didn't have to steal. He could have got there by the batter walking, but we didn't know that going in. Here's Tabler. Now, unfortunately for Cleveland, that's a wild pitch chance on Petrie, which is a 12. And it will be a wild pitch on Petrie. So how about that? It just interrupted what I was going to say, is that one of the silver linings, or maybe remember that song by the Grateful Dead, every silver lining has a touch of gray. The touch of gray on that walk was it set up a double play, but now the wild pitch just ended that theory. So I rolled the dice for a chance to say anything. So now second and third, only one out. With a 6-1 lead, they're playing back. They're not going to play in. They want to get outs. Here's Tabler. All he needs is a ground ball to the middle of the infield, and he's got to run. 1-10, and it's a ground ball to short B. That will certainly do it. And just to be official, we'll go over to our runner advancement chart. Infield was back. Second and third. Ground ball B is a 5. It says if hit to second or short, batter out, runners advance 1 base. So there you go. It was hit to short. So therefore, it's an RBI ground out from Pat Tabler. Butler will score 2, and Franco will take third. So now he's at third with 2 outs. Clutch situation for Joe Carter, and he's been awful all year long. That's been pretty much documented many times. Hate to beat it to death. He's also anti-clutch, 1-9, 1-10. He loses hits. But if Joe Carter gets to a long one, all of a sudden Cleveland's back in the game. 2-3, and he looked at 1-3 by mistake. 2-3 is a pop out to short. Wow. Just if that had been a 1, it'd been a home run, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. Cleveland gets 1 run, but that's all they get. And at the end of 3, it is a 6-2 score. And now if you turn your attention to the chat area, Kathy has the first trivia question of the day, as Phil Niekro is still going back out there to finish the warm-up tosses and try to sneak in one more inning of pitching. So let's see what Kathy has for us, see if we can figure it out without a hint. In 1957, two major league teams traded their entire 25-man minor league rosters to each other. Wow. I've never heard that one before. Kathy's digging deep in the archives to find these. I don't have any clue at all. I don't know how many teams even had good minor league systems back in those days. Their entire 25-man minor league roster to each other. Probably two bad teams, I'm thinking. It's probably two bad teams that were desperate, and maybe it was a publicity stunt of some sort. I don't even know what you would go with that. 57. Who was bad in 57? Oh, Dodgers and Cubs. Okay. You said it's complicated. Dodgers and Cubs. Of course, in 57, Dodgers were still in Brooklyn. They didn't go to LA until 58, I think. I was thinking 57 was their last season. Could have been 56, but I'm thinking it was 57. Don't know for sure without looking it up. That may have had something to do with it. I don't know. Hard to say. But a great question. And good thing he gave us the answer. We probably would have been Dodgers and Cubs, or else we'd have been guessing all day. All right, here is Kirk Gibson. He will lead off against Niekro. 4-5, and that's a fly to center field. One away. Whoops. And Jeffrey, thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. I didn't mean to ignore your comments. I was kind of concentrating on the game, but I did go back and look at your other comments, and I do appreciate all the positivity. All right, here's Alan Trammell. Three, 4, and that's a pop up to second base. That's 2 away. And of course, your prior streams and replays like 69 and whatever is what encouraged me to even do this to begin with. So, wait a minute, I got something. It should be Matt. No, why is something got off here on my computer? I'm out of sync here, so I got to figure out what the heck is going on. For some reason I had Darrell Evans still batting this inning. That shouldn't be the case. So, way to go back to the play-by-play and figure out what the heck I mistyped. Usually, what happens is it's not that I mistype something; it's that I miss typing something. I don't enter it in the computer what happened on the screen. That's generally what happens. Let's see here. Let's go back to the Tigers' third inning. Let's see, third inning, we had Grubb striking out. We had Brookins grounding out. We had a one-base error. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put the single for Whale Wander. That's what I did. Okay. That's what I did. I got to go back and recreate that. Sorry about this, folks. I'm going to have to take about a 2-minute reprieve and correct all of this. Good thing for the undo button, but I do want to keep it in sync so I can keep scoring the game as I play it and keep me in check and make sure that I'm doing things correctly. I know it's kind of a dead air time right now while I get this fixed, but it needs to be fixed. So do what you got to do, as they say. All right, so Whale Wander. Let's go back on him. Okay, so Whale Wander single. Now we're back in business. Whale Wander singled. Bergman reached on the error by Bernazard, and then a ground out to second. All right, so now that takes us to Endo, and he struck out. Then we have a walk to Butler. We have a stolen base. We have a walk to Franco. We have a wild pitch. We have a ground out 6-3 that scores the run. Then Carter pops to short. All right, and then we have Gibson fly to center. And Trammell pop to second, and we're back in where we need to be. I did, Jeff, but I didn't do a season every game replay like you did. I'm saying your ambition to play every game is what got me on this. So, all right. So Matt Noakes, 2 out space is empty, and we're back where we need to be. 3-8 split chance, 1-10 is a single. That is a 10 base hit for Matt Noakes. They're trying to at least get 4 innings out of Niekro. Here's Sheridan because he's already tired, but he's just hanging on. That knuckleball doesn't take much effort to throw it. So here's Sheridan, 3-2. That's a triple. Oh, you don't see that very often. A straight out triple on Pat Sheridan's card. You don't see that in Strat-O-Matic very often, that you get a clean as a baby's ass triple. Jeff, I guess you can call this clean as a baby's ass triple. We do it for home runs, so I guess we ought to do it for triples. 3-2 is a clean as a baby's ass triple for Pat Sheridan. Pat Sheridan. Let me bring his card up a little closer. Maybe that'll help. 3-2. That's a clean as a baby's ass triple on that right-hand side. 3-2 result. Clean triple for Pat Sheridan. You don't see that happen very often. But it is an RBI triple to make it 7-2 now. As Noakes scores. For Pat Sheridan, he had 3 triples on the season. That's it. Kind of strange they would give him a triple straight up on his card when he only had 3 all season in 421 at bats, but they did. And that's just what we have. So it is now 7-2. Niekro trying to get that final out if he can. Here's Johnny Grubb. That's 2-6 for Grubb. Split chance 1-11. That's a 12. So he caught a break. It's a line out to second to end the inning. But that's going to be it for Niekro. He's going to go 4 innings and give up 7 runs. 7-2 is our score. So we go to the bottom of the 4th. And let's get the gory numbers on Phil Niekro from the Strat-O-Matic computer. Niekro, 4 innings pitched, 9 hits, 7 runs, all earned. Walked 3, struck out 3, and gave up 2 home runs. A 2-run homer to Gibson and a 3-run homer to Evans. So the Tribe will bring in the newly brought up Mike Armstrong. He will be the new pitcher in the – he's a +9 hole, but I don't think with the score Tiger's going to think about running. But he will be the new pitcher in the 5th inning, and he'll go as long as he can go. All right, bottom of the 4th, Dan Petrie with the commanding lead, 7-2. He should be able to hold that, you would think. And we will take over to Mel Hall. 6-8 for Hall, and that's a base on balls. 3rd walk issued by Petrie. Well, that's something you don't want to do. The team gives you a 7-2 lead. You don't want to start walking guys. Make them earn it. Here's Jacoby. 5-11, and that's a ballpark blast. It is 1-11, and that is an 11 right on the number. Brooke Jacoby goes deep for the Tribe. his 8th home run of the season. He had 32 real world. 32 real world. He gets his 8th right here. RBIs 29 replay. Cuts the lead to 7-3. Let's look at it again. 5-11 is the ballpark blast. It's a 1-11, and that is an 11. So Brooke Jacoby, a 2-run homer. And now Petrie has to try to struggle and make it through 5 innings so he can qualify for the win. Here's Snyder, 2-4 for Snyder, and that's a ground ball to short. Trammell takes care of that, 1 away. We do have a second trivia question from Kathy in the top of the 6th. So be ready for that. Not sure if it'll be as complicated as the first one, but we will find out. Here's Bernazard, 6'8", switch hitter, is a base on balls. That's a 4th walk issued by Petrie. Trouble with the strike zone. Here's Chris Bando. It's going to be a long game with all these runs. Got a funny feeling. 1-7, and that's a ground ball first base A, so it'll be a 3-6-3 double play. 3-6-3 double play, and that will end the inning. But 2 runs do come across. And now at the end of 4 innings, it's 7-4. We kind of got ourselves a ball game back again. And here is Mr. Armstrong. He is in the real season, he was 1-0 with an 8.68 earned run average and a save. Wonder how he got the save. I don't know. 19 pitched, 27 hits. So we'll see what he can do. This is his season debut. And as Steely Dan said in Peg, this is your big debut, Mr. A. So this is your big debut. It's like a dream come true. If you smile for the camera, you know they're going to love it. All right. That's for all you Steely Dan fans out there. All right. Again, this is his first outing, so we have no accumulated stats for him. So here's Tom Brookins. 110, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-11. That's a 3, double die. And he will learn very quickly how the double die will treat him. Not very kindly on this particular one as Brookins gets the hit. Brookins, a 6 or a hold. It's a 7. He's going to go. But the +5's an 18. And he does barely around the number. Tom Brookins, a very rare stolen base for Tom Brookins. Don't see him steal many bases. In fact, I'll check his stolen bases in the real season and on the replay once I bring his card up here. Come on, why did you go away? Get up here, Mr. Brookins. All right, so Brookins on the season on the 87 season, stole 7 bases, got caught 4 times. This is his second steal. He's been caught once. So Brookins with the stolen base brings up Mr. Whale Wander. Maybe his walk-up music should be The Wanderer. You know, that song, The Wanderer, from like in the 50s or 60s. Goes around, 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 around. He could be the Whale Wanderer. 2-10, and that's going to be a split chance. 1-4 is a single. Other thing else, he lines to second. So yet another line out, and that is the 4th line out of the game. 1 away, and we flip the order back over to Dave Bergman. Bergman. Whoa, we got stacked. How many times you see that happen? I would say that's a reroll, don't you think? Consider that a reroll. I think you might. The dice can be loaded sometimes, but they should never be stacked. And we got stacked dice, so let's re-roll that. 3-7 for Bergman, and that's a ground ball to second. It will be a Without the stolen base, it would have been a double play, but as it is, it's a ground to second with the runner advancing to third base. So Bergman grounds out, and Brookins will take third base with 2 outs. And that'll bring up Darrell Evans in the clutch situation. And Evans, 1-6 and 110, he gains hits. That's a 3-6, though, and he will walk instead. That will keep the inning going. Bringing up Kirk Gibson. Gibson has homered and grounded out and flew out to center. One chance for and he's an automatic wild pitch of 20, so that's going to score the run. When you get a 20 like that, well, you know, I'm going to do the house rule. If I roll a 20, it will not be a wild pitch. Otherwise, it will. Oh, it's a wild pitch. So that'll move Evans to second base and score Tom Brookins on the wild pitch. So Gibson now up. Run is in. Oh, one die got caught up, so we're going to re-roll that one. I don't know how they got hung up in there, but it did. 1-9 for Gibson, and that's a 1-6 triple. That's a 4, so it'll be a triple for Kirk Gibson. Second Tigers triple of the game. He had 3 triples on the season. This is his 3rd triple. So he has matched his season total in triples already, and he's only had 25% of his total at bats. RBI triple from Gibson. 2 runs are in. And that'll bring up Alan Trammell. It is now 9-4. 2-8, and that's a ground ball to third to end the inning. But 2 more runs come in. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. Scored 9-4. Petrie has to make it through this inning to qualify for the win, and it is his fatigue inning as well. Keep an eye on that. Hey, Dan. No problems with the working and lurking. I will need a 7th inning stretch as long as this game is going. My coffee's gotten a little cold. So there will be a 7th inning stretch. Here's Brett Butler, 6'5", left-handed. In-home run chance 1-9. That's a 5. And Brett Butler has normal power. It's gone. Don't think of Brett Butler hitting home runs. He only hit 9 in 522 at-bats, but he gets one right here, 6'5". In-home run chance 1-9. That's a 5. He has normal power. So Brett Butler makes it a Dolly Parton 9-5 game. Home run number 3 for Butler. RBI number 13. And Dan Petrie saying 9-5. What a way to make a living. All right, here's Julio Franco. Speaking of home runs. 4-7, and that's a single. So, boy, Petrie on the verge of fatigue. Be a shame for Petrie not to be able to get a win when your team scores 9 runs for you like that. But it could happen. Could definitely happen. 2-10, and that's going to be a fly to left field. Finally, to get the first out. Petrie just trying to get through 5 innings and get the heck out of there. Take his win and go home is what he's trying to do. Here's Joe Carter. That's a 1. So Petrie 12 on the wild pitch. And he uncorks the wild pitch. That again takes away the ground ball double play. Here's Carter. 3-3 for Carter. Fly ball to right field. 2 down. 2 away, and that will send up Mel Hall. That's a 2. Chance for a balk or pass ball. We're looking at pass ball rating on Noakes, which is a 3. No pass ball, so Hall will swing it. 6-5. That's another in-home run chance, 1-9. That's a 10, though, so it'll settle in air quotes with a double. That'll score Franco to make it 9-6, and now he is tired, is Mr. Petrie. But he just needs one more out to qualify for the win, so Sparky's going to give him every chance in the world to get that final out. Here's Jacoby. 1-8, and that's a walk. Getting tedious around here. Definitely getting tedious, and Kathy's trivia question's getting cold. I got a feeling. It's been on the on-deck circle for a while now. So here's Corey Snyder. Another 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. We're looking at a balk rating of Petrie, which is a 3. He does not balk. So here's Snyder. 5-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Whale Wander. He's a 3 E23. 3 and 18 is good. The E23 and the 8 looks promising. E23 and an 8. There is no 8 there, so it's good play, and Petrie survives. He will be done. That's all for Petrie. Going to give up 6 runs. Imagine that, pitching 5 innings, giving up 6 runs, but yet still most likely will gain the win. And then somebody like Viola, the other day, gives up 2 runs in 8 innings and takes the loss. Doesn't quite seem fair sometimes, but nobody said baseball was fair. So we go to the top of the 6th. So if you would turn your attention to the chat box and see what kind of trivia question Kathy has for it if it hasn't gotten cold. You might have had to microwave it to nuke it up and get it warm again. 9-6 Tigers over the Indians as we head to the 6th. But let's see what trivia question we have. What pitcher won the most career games in a Braves uniform? With a caveat. Okay, we're back to the caveats again. One of my favorite words, caveat, behoove. There's a lot of them that are my favorite. But those are 2 of my favorites, caveat and behoove. Let's see here. What pitcher won the most career games in a Braves uniform? I want to say Warren Spahn because he pitched with the Milwaukee Braves and the Boston Braves. So I'm guessing Spahn. He won a whole lot of games. I know that. I mean, Greg Maddux might have won a lot of games, but half of those are with the Cubs. And Jeffrey says Spahn. And Dr. D says Spahn. And Are You Ready says Spahn. So we'll see if that is the answer, or maybe it's a tricky question. And we go to maybe it's Lou Burdette or somebody. I don't know. But I'm guessing Spahn. All right, we all got it. Okay, cool. I guess the caveat being he was in Milwaukee and in Boston. I'm guessing that's what the caveat was. Thank you for that trivia question. Everybody gets an attaboy. I don't have any candy to give anybody, but everybody gets an attaboy. All right, top of the 6th. It'll be Matt Noakes to lead it off. He's singled and doubled. 1-9 for Noakes, and that's a base on balls. There certainly have been a lot of walks in this game as well. That's another thing that's kind of... Oh, I didn't know he lost 3 years in the war. Well, that makes sense. He was pitching around that time. Might have been the Korean War, though, is what I'm thinking. I'm not sure when he started. I know he pitched in the 50s. I'm not sure how far back he goes. All right, Pat Sheridan is your batter. Noakes not being held. That's a 5-7, and that is a fly ball to right field, 1 away. And the pace of this game is going to probably take as long to play this one game as it took me to play the doubleheader yesterday. Because that first game especially just flew by with that pitching. Here's Johnny Grubb. 4-7, and that's a single to right field for Grubb. Noakes, the right fielder on Corey Snyder's a -4, so Noakes is not going to challenge that. So it's first and second. First and second, 1 out for Tom Brookins. (6-2), and that's a ballpark blast. 1-11. That's a 17 though, so it's just a fly to center field. 2 away for Mr. Whale Wander. In a clutch situation, no less. But he had such few at bats. He only had 54 at bats, so nobody with that few at bats, generally no one like that gets rated for clutch. Just the sample size is not big enough. 1-11 is a ground ball to short, and Franco will make the play, and the inning's over. So Armstrong, 2 innings pitched and 2 hits. 2 runs, and they may go ahead and try to extend him and try to sneak a 3rd inning out of him to help try to save some wear and tear on the bullpen. Tigers will need a new pitcher, and we'll see who they're going to go to out of their bullpen, who can give them length and maybe who's got a decent amount of rest. And let's see what we got. And it looks like the guy that might qualify on both ends of that is Eric King. Eric King can give him 3 innings in relief, and he's fairly well rested, not overtaxed like some of the other ones are. 0 on the hold. So Eric King will be coming on. Let's do the numbers on Petrie. Well, first we'll look at King's numbers in real world. He was 6-9 with a 489 earned run average. On the replays, 2-2 with 2 saves and a 1.98 earned run average. Boy, he's really been killing it. 41 innings pitched, 34 hits, 10 walks, 29 strikeouts. So we go to the box score and get the final numbers on Mr. Petrie, who is qualified now for the win, as long as the Tigers never lose the lead. Petrie is going to go 5 innings, give up 6 hits and 6 runs. They were all earned. 5 walks and 1 strikeout. If you look at that pitching line, you say there's no way he wins that game. That's an automatic loss. But when your team scores 9 runs, that can make a difference. All right, so we got Bernazard, Bando, and Butler. Killer Bees due up for the Tribe here against Mr. King. 4-6, and that's going to be a strikeout. So Eric King starts out well with a strikeout of Bernazard. Here's Bando. Bando has struck out into a double play. 6-6, and that's another strikeout. So Eric King coming in firing with 2 straight strikeouts, and that brings up Brett Butler top of the order. Butler homered his last time up. 3-9, and that's going to be a solid single for Butler. And he will be looking maybe to now down by with the +4 he'd try it, but not with the 0 hold. They're not going to try anything. Here's Julio Franco. Franco is 2 for 2, a home run and a single, plus a walk. 4-4. Catcher X, we're looking at Noakes. He's a 4-E1. 4 and an 8. This could be some sort of pass ball or something. We'll wait and see. 4 and an 8 for a catcher. Is a P/P. That's a 7. He is an E1, so no problems there. P/P. Where are you? There you are. We go to our wild pitch rating of the pitcher to check on a potential pass ball. Wild pitch chances for Eric King. Got to pull it up on the computer because the cards don't reflect it. Let's see. His wild pitch rating's a 9. So if we roll a 1 to 9, then we have a pass ball. We do not. So instead of a pass ball, it's just going to be a pop out. And that will be out number 3 to end the inning. So King, A very productive first inning for him. Armstrong will come out and try to make it through the next inning if possible. He'll be facing Bergman, Evans, and Gibson, top of the order. It's a 6-3, and that's a fly ball left field X. We're looking at Hall. He's a 3-4. 3 and a 5, that could be trouble. In fact, it probably is. Probably a single. And it certainly is. That's a 10, but no errors on a 10 on E4. So won't be an error, but it will be a leadoff single for Bergman. And he has gotten 3 singles in this game. It's 3 for 5. Here's Darrell Evans, the batter. Bergman not being held. 2-7 for Evans is a strikeout. 1 away. Takes us to Gibson. He has tripled and homered. No chance of a cycle, though, because he's not going to have enough at-bats to get a cycle. That's a 2. Chance for balk or pass ball. We're looking at a balk chance. He has a 0 balk. Gibson, 5-9, is a walk. And that'll put runners at first and second. And now Armstrong is tired, but he's going to try to get through the inning, if at all possible, although the bullpen is loosening. They do have right-handed action down in the bullpen. Actually, left-handed action in the bullpen because the lefties are coming up for the Tigers. So it looks to be Ed Vandenberg loosening their bullpen, a left-hander. And he's going to probably come in to face Noakes. So this is going to be the last batter that Armstrong's going to face regardless, as Ed Vandenberg, a lefty, will be coming on. 4-8, and that's a single to center field. Bergman doesn't run all that well, so they will hold him there. And the bases are loaded, and that's going to do it for Mr. Armstrong. He is done. They have stretched him as far as they can go. So with Matt Noakes, the lefty catcher, coming up, the Tribe will go to the bullpen for a left-hander. And that left-hander is Ed Vandenberg. Vandenberg on the real season was 1-0 with a 5.10 earned run average. Ed Vandenberg can't close the book on Armstrong, obviously, because of the bases being loaded. He is a -4 hold, so that's a -3, so I don't know if that will come into play or not. But we'll go to our bullpen on the computer and bring in Mr. Vandenberg. Get his numbers on the replay. So again, on the real season, 1-0 with no saves and a 5.10 ERA. On the replay, 3-1 with 1 save, but an 8.49 earned run average. 23 innings pitched, and he's given up 39 hits. That's a lot of hits. All right, so Matt Noakes, lefty on lefty. And with 1 out, they're playing for the double play. That's a 1-9, and that's exactly what they got, a double play. 4-6-3, double play, tailor-made. Giovanni's Tailor Shop sponsoring that tailor-made double play to get the Tribe out of the inning and keep them in this ball game. Despite everything that's gone on, they are still in this game. It is just a 3-run game, so anything can happen. But a great job from Vandenberg. Talk about a stellar performance there. Gets that double play ball. And we'll get the numbers now on Armstrong to finish out his day, so we can clean up his pitching line. And that's going to be 2 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, and a strikeout. So Cleveland pitching has walked 6 batters and 4 strikeouts. Tiger pitching has walked 5 batters. So we have 11 walks in 6.5 innings. Not exactly what you would call stellar. All right, we have the 7th inning stretch coming up. Kathy does have a trivia question for the Beatles, top of the 8th. But right now we have the 7th inning stretch because my coffee is gone pretty much stone cold, and it needs to be refreshed and reheated. So as we head to the 7th inning stretch, I will be doing my own version of stretching by going downstairs and heating my coffee. It's been a little bit of a time here. It's been a minute since the game started, so time for me to stretch. We've had a lot of activity here. We've had 21 hits and 11 walks to go with the 15 runs and 3 errors. So it's been a lot of stuff going on. And I definitely needed not only a physical break, but a mental break, I think. So 7th inning stretch we go. Tigers lead at 9-6, and get ready for take me out to the ball game. All right, mission accomplished. Coffee has been refreshed. And Jeff, that's good coffee. So we have the bottom of the 7th with Pat Tabler, Joe Carter, and Mel Hall taking on Eric King, who breezed pretty well through the 6th. We'll see what he does here in the 7th. 6-10, and that is a ballpark single check, 1-11, but that's a 12. So that's going to be a fly out to right field, as I'll not do the line out for that one. I'll keep the original result on the card to mix things up a bit. And here's Joe Carter. 3-5 for Carter. He grounds to short, and he continues to struggle. 0 for 4 on the day. Don't know how to get him started. Jump started. He just had bad luck all year long. Here's Mel Hall. 2-10 for Hall. That's a home run chance. 1-17, and that is gone. Mel Hall. It's not clean as a baby's ass, but it counts the run just the same. 2-10, home run 1-17, and that's a 12. Mel Hall, solo shot, cuts the lead to 9-7. For Hall, his 6th home run of the replay. He hit 18 real world. 6th home run, 19th run batted in. And don't look now, but it's a 9-7 game. Here's Brooke Jacoby. 3-6 for Jacoby, and that's a single. 1-10. That is a 5, so base hit for Jacoby. Hit parade continues. Cleveland now with their 9th hit. Detroit has 14 hits. Cleveland has 9. Here's Corey Snyder. Jacoby not being held at first base. But Snyder is the tying run. 2-10 for Snyder. He's going to ground it to third where Brookins will take it and make the play. Tribe get a run back to cut the lead to 9-7. We go to the top of the 8th, and Kathy has a trivia question for us related to the Beatles. So I know Jeff probably has a leg up on trying to answer that one because he is a Beatles aficionado, if there was ever one. So we'll see what happens. See if anybody else can chime in with the trivia as well. we wait for, I'm going to have another sip of coffee while we're waiting. Who is pictured on the Revolver album cover besides the Fab Four? I have no idea. Joel says Woody Allen. I don't have a clue if it's somebody musical or somebody in entertainment or somebody else. No. I don't guess Yoko Ono would have been on a cover of anything. It's probably some other musician that worked with them. Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. Anybody else have a guess? Midlife says Stalin. Near George's hair. Well, that doesn't. I don't know I'm not familiar with the cover of the album, so I have no idea. And as Jeff would like to say, no Googling, hopefully. You try to do it without Googling. We might need a hint, maybe whether it's a musician or an entertainer or just an average Joe. I don't know. I think you got us stumped on this one. The album artist himself. Joel says Mel Allen. No. Jeffrey says Vorman. I don't know who a Vorman is, but I guess maybe he was the artist that did the artwork for the album. Yes, Jeffrey got it. All right, Vorman. That was back in the day when I'm sure the young people don't even probably appreciate now, but not only one of the biggest things with albums back in the day was not just the music, but the artwork in the album and the information that came within the album itself. That was just as much a part of the album as the music was. Now you just digitally download the music and there's no sense of that anymore at all. But back in the day, it was a big deal. All right, so we start the top of the eighth. It is now a 9-7 game. Pat Sheridan doesn't hit against lefties very often. He's 18%, but his defense, they're not going to take him out. They're going to let him hit against Vandenberg. So Vandenberg to Sheridan. It's a 4-5, and that's a fly to left field. One away. So Vandenberg trying to keep his team in the running to be able to possibly come back in the late innings. We shall see. John Grubb will be lifted, though. He only faced lefties 4%. He's not a very good fielder either. So the Tigers will go to the bench, and they will bring on a right-handed hitter in the form of Terry Harper, and he will take over in right field to play right field because he's a better defensive player than Herndon or anybody else. So Harper will pinch hit in the eighth and play right field in the eighth in place of Grubb, who was a 4E3. Harper's a 2E16. So Terry Harper gets the call. So we'll go to the computer and get Harper into the game. Harper on the season, 64 at bats, he hit 203. Right now in the replay in 55 at bats, he's hitting 255, 2 homers, 11 driven in. So we'll see what Harper does against Vandenberg. 5-5, and that's a ballpark blast. It's 1-11. That's a 5. It's gone. Against lefties, he's got normal power. He had 95% of his at-bats came against left-handed pitching. He's got the normal power. It is gone. 5-5. Vandenberg, ballpark blast, home runs 11. That's a 5. So Terry Harper, and great pinch hitting there by Sparky Anderson, pulled the right button on that, or pushed the right button on that one. Terry Harper, his third home run of the season, and that's exactly what he had in the real world, was 3 home runs. So in his 56th at bat, he got 8 more at bats to go to match. He matched the home run total with 3. And it is now a 10-7 ball game, favor of Detroit. Hello, Colin. Good to see you. Here's Brookins. 4-2, and that's a ground ball right back to Vandenberg. 2 down. And that'll bring us to Whale Wander. 3-4. Switch hitter batting left-handed or against the lefty is a ballpark single check. 1-11. That's a 3. Base hit for Whale Wander. For the Tigers, that is their 16th hit to go with their 10 runs. And that'll switch us over to Bergman. It's a very good defensive first baseman, so they're not going to take him out against the lefty. That's a 6-8 lefty-lefty. It's a single to left field. Whale Wander will stop at second base with the ball hit to left field. First and second. 2 down. Vandenberg is now tired. Let's see if they try to get him through the inning. He's going to face Darrell Evans. You got lefties coming up, Evans and Gibson, so he's going to try to get through the inning. But if he hits a dot, and against lefties, there are 2 dots here, 6-7 and 5-4. If he hits those, or 6-12, if he hits those, he's got to come out of the game. 6-10, and that's a ground ball third base X. We're looking at Jacoby. He is a 4E25. 4 and a 6. That could be problems. And it is. It's a single, 1 star. Let's see here. That's an 8, and he is an E25. There's an 8 there as well. It's going to be a single plus an error on Jacoby. With that being an 8, that 8 is right there on the E25. So Jacoby making an error. It'll be a single plus an error for Evans. And that will move Bergman over to third and will score Whale Wander from second. The single plus the error will score him. So there will not be an RBI given because the single was only 1 star originally, so it would not have scored Whale Wander. But in this case, it does. And Jacoby boots it to now make it an 11-7 ball game. Can't blame, well, you can blame Vandenberg on the hit, but not on the error. Here's Kirk Gibson. This will be the last batter that Vandenberg gets to face, lefty on lefty. That's a 2-5 for Gibson, and that's a strikeout, and that will end the inning. And the Tribe in the 9th inning. But 2 runs come across the plate to make it 11-7. So this run is unearned. So we got 2 runs here, and only 1 of them are earned. He's going to end up going an inning and 2/3, giving up 4 hits. He did not walk anybody, struck out 1. And Eric King back out. King will be starting his 3rd inning. This will be his fatigue inning as well. So the Tribe will bring in a new pitcher for the top of the 9th. And going into right field for Detroit is Terry Harper. Actually, pinch hit. Now he stays in the game to play right field, Terry Harper. And Bernazard, Bando, and Butler due up for the Tribe. They'll probably pinch hit for Bando, most likely. 3-9 for Bernazard, and that is a ground ball to first. I know it gets kind of cut off at the end there, so I'll move it over. Ground ball to first, easy play for Bergman. And now we'll get a pinch hitter for the Tribe. They will go to Doug Frobel. Doug Frobel will pinch hit, a lefty. And then they will bring in Rick Dempsey to catch. So Frobel will do the pinch hitting. And Dempsey will catch in the 9th. So Frobel, your pinch hitter. Frobel on the real season hit 100. An even 100. but he's left-handed, so they're hoping to get something off of Eric King's card on the left-hand side. Let's see what he's done on the replay to this point. Mr. Frobel. First of all, need to put in Bernazar's ground out. I didn't do that originally, so now we can get to Bando and pinch it for him with Mr. Frobel. Frobel on the replay has 11 at-bats so far. He's hitting 273 and 11 at-bats, so not bad compared to the 100 average he had there. That's a 1-2, and that's a ground ball to second. An easy play for Whale Wander, and Frobel is out of there. 2 down, and back to the top of the order for Brett Butler. Two-7, and that is a ground ball to second. To end the inning, King's going to try to go all 4 innings and get the save. He would qualify for a save by virtue of pitching those 4 innings if he makes it through. So we go to the top of the 9th. Tigers lead it by the score of 11-7. Rick Dempsey will come in the game to catch and bat 9th. And he will have a new pitcher tossing to him. And we'll see who that new pitcher is going to be. Looks like it's going to be Mark Huseman. Or it could be Rich Yet. I'll go with Huseman. So Huseman, a right-hander. Mark Huseman on the real season was 2-3 with a 5.04 earned run average. On the replay, he's 0-4 with no saves and a 6.41 earned run average. So Huseman, he's the kind of guy you bring in when you're down by 4 in the 9th inning. You don't bring in your best guys. You bring in your scrubs. Dempsey's arm, not that it matters, is a +1, so that makes him a -1. So it will be Trammell, Noakes, and Sheridan due 9th. Hey, Mike, good to see you. Huseman against Trammell. Huseman acquired in a trade from the Mariners earlier this season. 6-6 for Huseman, and that's a split chance. 1-11 is a single, 12-20 lines to short, and we have yet another line out. Line out to short. 1 away, and that will send up Matt Noakes. 3-8 for Noakes, and that's going to be a split chance. 1-10 is a single. That's a 15, and we have yet another line out. So by my count, that is the 6th line out of the game. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 line outs so far. Don't know what the Vegas line is, over-under is on lineouts in this game, but they're pretty close to it. Here's Sheridan. He's 1 for 5, but that one hit was a triple. 5-7. Ground ball second base, shortstop X rather. That's Julio Franco. It's a 2E26. 2-7, he should still be okay with that. 2-7 is a G2. That's a 4. E26 and a 4 at shortstop. No 4. There's a 12, 17, and 18, but Franco will make the play. And Huseman pitches a solid 9th inning. And we go to the bottom of the 9th, last chance for the Tribe as they trail it 11-7. 11 runs, 18 hits, and an error for the Tigers. 7 runs, 9 hits, and 3 errors for Cleveland. It'll be the heart of the order. Franco, Tabler, and Carter with Hall in the hole. Tigers do have Willie Hernandez loosening the bullpen just in case King starts to falter. So they're going to give King every opportunity to get this save if he can. 6-10. 6-10 is a ballpark single check on a 6-10. That's a 1-11. That's a 5. So Julio Franco gets a base hit to start the bottom of the 9th. That's what you need for Cleveland. You need base runners. He will not be held. He won't go anywhere. They're not worried about Franco. They're worried about the batters. Here's Tabler. 1-4 for Tabler is a ballpark single check. It's again 1 to an 11, and that's a 2. So back-to-back ballpark singles. And the Tribe might have something going here. Willie Hernandez has started loosening in the bullpen. King may be fading. Here's Joe Carter, but if you're Detroit, I guess you can depend on Joe Carter to blow it. That's a 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. We're looking at a pass ball on Noakes, which is only a 3. No pass ball. So here's Joe Carter. 5-3, and that's a fly ball right field X. That's Harper. Harper is a 2E16 in right field. 2 and a 12, he'll get to it. 2 and a 12 is an F2. That's a 13. He's an E16. I was about ready to sneeze, so I hit the mute button real quick. I didn't want to sneeze in your ears. This will be an error. That's an 11. I'm sorry, it's a 13. And he is an E16. E16 is a 2-base error on Terry Harper. So they brought him in for his defense because he had good range, but the E16 caught up to him. And that's a 2-base error. 2-base error on Terry Harper. Scoring is Franco. And going to third is Tabler. On the 2-base error by Terry Harper, it's now an 11-8 game. That is the 5th error in the game combined for both teams. Here's Mel Hall. King trying to hold on. That's another 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. We're looking at, again, a pass ball rating of 3 for Noakes. No pass ball. Here's Hall. 4-3 is a fly ball left field X. Now we're over here to left field, and we're looking at Gibson. He's a 3E10. 3 and 18 should be okay. No problems. 3 and 18 is an F3. That's not even going to be a sacrifice fly. That's a short fly ball. That's an 11, and Gibson's an E10. E10, there's no 11, so it's just a short fly to left field, not deep enough to advance any runners. So the runners will hold, but the tying run is at the plate in Brooke Jacoby, and Jacoby has already homered in this game. So King has to be careful. That's a 3-7 for Jacoby, and he walks, and that's going to be it for King. They can't go any further with King. They were giving him every opportunity they could to get the save, but they just, with the runners on base right now, they just can't afford to go any longer. So they're going to be bringing on, actually it won't be Willie Hernandez, it'll be Mike Henneman, a right-hander. So Mike Henneman is going to be coming into the game, a right-hander. King is going to go 3 1/3 innings. So kudos to him for pitching that long. Can't do any more on the numbers until we get the game over with, so we don't know what he's responsible for. So nope, Chuck, it will not be Willie. It will be, with Snyder a righty coming up, it will be Mike Henneman. King is officially tired, the computer is telling me. That's, thanks for that knowledge. So it will be Mike Henneman coming into the ball game. In the real season, Mike Henneman was 11-3 with a 2.98 ERA and 7 saves. In the replay, he's 2-3 with a save of 4.11 ERA. So the bases are loaded now. The winning run is on first base. So Jacoby represents the winning run. Here's Corey Snyder, 1 out, infield back for the double play. Henneman to Snyder. That's a 4-8, and that's a strikeout for Mike Henneman, a big one. 2 down, and it's going to turn it all over now to Tony Bernazard. He is the last hope for the Tribe. Switch hitter. Clutch situation as well. So in the clutch, he loses a hit on 312, 2-9, and 210, and 110. So definitely anti-clutch is Bernazard. That's a 6-6 switch hitter batting left, and that's a strikeout there. Henneman comes in and strikes out the last 2 batters he faces to end the ball game and get the save. And again, another brilliant managing move by Sparky Anderson, bringing in Mike Henneman to get the job done. And the Tigers win it by the score of 11-8. Can't overemphasize the brilliance of that managing move. And that's what you see here. We don't play checkers, we play chess. So we'll go to the box score and get the totals on this one. Petrie gets the win. It's not really deserved necessarily after poor performance like that. Eric King does get his first hold. He goes 3 1/3 innings, gives up 5 hits, 2 runs, only one of which was earned, a walk and 2 strikeouts. Huseman went 1 inning, gave up nothing in his outing. The losing pitcher is Phil Niekro. He drops to 2-5. 11 runs, 18 hits, and 2 errors for the Tigers. 8 runs, 11 hits, and 3 errors for the Tribe. No, there's not going to be a doubleheader. Just like Rocky, Apollo Creed said, there ain't going to be no rematch. There ain't going to be no doubleheader. Not after this long game. Plus, I got work to do outside. Look at the player of the game. Boy, you could pick a lot of them. For the Tigers, Evans had 3 runs batted in. So did Gibson. But Bergman was 4 for 6, so he was doing a lot of stuff up there. So you can pick your own. Choice for player of the game. However you want to do it. But anyway, with the win, the Tigers go now to 27-21. Cleveland becomes the next team in the league to lose 30 games. They join Boston and Baltimore at 30 losses. Detroit with the win goes to 27-21. They're now 4.5 games behind league leader Milwaukee. And speaking of Milwaukee, they will be the next game tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. We will finish off the June 1st schedule. And we'll be going to County Stadium in Milwaukee. It will be the Kansas City Royals taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. It'll be game number 340 on the replay. It'll be Bill Wegman against Charlie Liebrandt. That'll be your matchup tomorrow morning, roughly 9 o'clock. Yeah, it's more than the pine cones. There's a lot of leaves out there. I'm going to take some before and after pictures. The front yard's pretty big, but there are 3 big trees right kind of in the middle. So what I plan on doing today is going from the house to the trees and cleaning that all off. And that'll leave the leaves from the trees to the road to get probably on Saturday, because I think tomorrow is supposed to be rainy and messy. But I'm going to try to get up the part that's and raking them's not a problem. It's just bagging all those things. I have nowhere to put them, so all I can do is put them in big green trash bags. But it doesn't take long to fill up trash bags when you talk about leaves. So you're talking about getting 10 to 15 trash bags full of stuff. So it's just a mess. I don't have really good equipment to get them up. It's just the old-fashioned rake and glove. Put my gloves on, use a rake, and put them in green trash bags and zip tie them, and that's about all I can do. And then when I take the trash to the landfill every Saturday, I throw 2 bags in there to trying to minimize, so I can take them throughout the year to get rid of them. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced. I appreciate Kathy for her trivia questions. Hope you all have a great Thursday, whatever you have planned. And, of course, tomorrow we'll be doing Kansas City, Milwaukee. Saturday, no, I don't want to jump on a pile. Once I get them in a pile, I want to keep it that way. I haven't jumped in a pile of leaves since I was a little kid, so I don't know. And hopefully, there's no animals around, hopefully, to mess it up. So possible doubleheader tomorrow. Possible. I'm thinking about it. With it being rainy tomorrow morning, I won't be able to go outside and do anything. Impossible thinking about the doubleheader. That being this game, Kansas City, Milwaukee, and the National League game, Pittsburgh and Atlanta. and that'll free my Saturday up. So I'm thinking about doing that. It's a strong consideration to do that. To start with Kansas City, Milwaukee as usual, and then do the National League game from June the 1st, which is the game I picked is going to be Pittsburgh and Atlanta from Atlanta. Rick Russell against Rick Mailer. So have a great day, everybody, as Kathy said, and we will check you all later on. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.